Don't focus too much on that dream home. You can actually get a fixer-upper house. As I do my research on Zillow, I look at places like St. Thomas, Welland, Oshawa, London, Ontario, Niagara Falls area. All these little pockets have some houses less than $600,000. Get a higher rate as we speak, and as the mortgage rate continues to drop down, you have an option to break that higher rate and get into a lower rate mortgage. I know things are looking good, but I promise you in 6 months or so, the bidding wars are going to be coming. The bullying offers are going to be coming in. So if you have a friend or a family member that's having some money sitting around, I would definitely encourage you that come together as a unit, put all your resources together, get a higher rate mortgage now, suffer for about a year or so. You can break the mortgage, and in between you can actually jump onto a lower rate. Hello everyone, and once again welcome to Presenting Canada to the World, and it's your boy KB. Today we have a very wonderful news for you, and there was a video that I did a while ago asking people, is it the best time to buy real estate in Canada? And today our own Bank of Canada was able to pause the mortgage rate for the time being. So since 2022, January to be precise, the government of Canada or the Bank of Canada has raised interest rate 8 times in the last 12 months. And finally, March 2022, they decided to pause the rate hikes for some time. So what does this mean to you? There are 2 kinds of mortgages in Canada, whether you go for variable or you go for a fixed rate. So this mortgage hike that has been paused currently is only applied to those individuals that are looking for variable rates. So the variable rate, the way it works is that anytime the interest rate really goes up, then definitely the amount of money that you pay is also going to go up. So right now as we speak, the current overnight rate sits at 4.50. So if you're going to look for a mortgage as we speak and it's a variable rate, you're going to be tagged with 4.5 rate at your bank. But also there is a catch, which is the stress test. So the stress test is also another measure the government has put into place. And what that does is that it ensures that individuals are qualified over the bank rate, which is the 4.5. So anybody undergoing the stress test, an additional 2% will be added to that 4.5 rate that is currently at the benchmark. So now you go from 4.5 to 6.5 because of the 2% rate that has been added to the mortgage. This is a little bit of a tricky situation in a sense that if you look at our neighbors at the south of the border, which is the USA, the federal government has actually mentioned that they're going to keep increasing mortgage rates. For Canada, the economy is looking good. The numbers are looking good. So the government decided to pause the mortgage rate at the moment. But because our money or our currency is intertwined with the United States currency, with the federal government in the US determined to increase this mortgage rate, there's a ripple effect that it might affect Canada in general. So for now, I think it's a very, very good window to buy a house if you ask me. From my research and what I've been doing so far, every single morning or whenever that I'm ready, I'm looking at the housing market very, very close. And what alarms me though is the number of days houses are staying on the market. So for example, about 6 months ago when the rate was actually going high, if you look on the Zillow, which is another website you can actually look for home research, you can see that there were some homes that were staying on the market for about 100 days, 146 days, 50 days. That means there was no potential buyers. Now you go to Zillow and you pick a place like Brampton or Mississauga, you can see that the amount of time these houses are staying on the market, on the average you see 6 days, or sometimes you see 10 days or 12 days or even less. So that also signals that something is actually going on. If you look at last year 2022 February and 2023 February, if you compare the house prices, the prices have dropped significantly between 17 to 18%. That's year over year, 2022 to 2023. It has dropped between 17 to 18%. But interestingly, if you take 2023 itself and you compare the month of January to the month of February, you can see that the home price have gone up over 8%. It has gone up over 8%. So that's also another indicator that something is about to happen. So as an individual, if you really want to get into the housing market, I think this is a good time, and there's several ways that you can do this. And one of the key way is right now with the current rate at 4.5, if you actually go and get a mortgage pre-approval, this can hold on up to 4 months, which is 120 days. So for example, once you get the pre-approval, you are hold on to this current rate for 120 days. And if the rate continues to drop, you can go back to the bank and the bank will give you the lower rate. So that's one way to actually get into the housing market, in that you take advantage of the current rate, and if it drops, then definitely you can go back to the bank and get the lower rate. One avenue that individuals can also buy these houses is go to remote areas. As I do my research on Zillow, I look at places like St. Thomas, Welland, Oshawa, London, Ontario, Niagara Falls area. All these little pockets have some houses less than $600,000. Some places 600, 700, or 800, depending how big you want it. But there are different pockets in Ontario and across Canada where you can get into this real estate market at a very low price or reasonable price. So in this case, you can actually take a mortgage, which is a fixed rate for about 3%. And with the current rate, you can break the mortgage halfway through your principal payments. And then if a newer rate comes in, which is lower, you can pay the penalty and then jump it into the new rate. So that's one of the most easiest way to get into the housing market. Get a higher rate as we speak, and as the mortgage rate continues to drop down, you have an option to break that higher rate and get into a lower rate mortgage. But at that time, you have bought the house for very cheap price compared to when the housing prices is very high. So that's one way that you can actually also get into the housing market as we speak. Another thing that you can also do to get into the housing market that a lot of people might not know is don't focus on that perfect house. Don't focus too much on that dream home. You can actually get a fixer upper house. And what a fixer upper house is that it's not a house that comes with all the bells and whistles. It's not a house that is move-in ready. So if you take a fixer and upper, you can actually spend some money to renovate this house, which will give you the value that you are looking for. But if you focus too much on having a house which is ready to go, then you're gonna miss this opportunity. But you can actually take a chance, buy a house that's half decent, which is also in a good location, and you can renovate it. Whatever money that you save, you can renovate and actually make it your dream home. So these are some of the 3 areas where you can actually take advantage of the current rate situation. I know things are looking good, but I promise you in 6 months or so, the bidding wars are going to be coming. The bullying offers are going to be coming in. So if you have a friend or a family member that's having some money sitting around, I would definitely encourage you that come together as a unit, put all your resources together, get a higher rate mortgage now, suffer for about a year or so. You can break the mortgage, and in between, you can actually jump onto a lower rate. So these are some of the avenues and some tips and tricks that I can give you to buy a house, but it all comes down to your finances as well. So exercise caution, exercise patience, and most importantly, do your due diligence. If the math doesn't add up, don't jump into something that you can afford. But if you feel that this is a window for you to actually get your first home, your second home, or as an investor, then definitely I will encourage you. We're gonna bring you more updates as we get it. It's your boy KB presenting Canada to the world. Make sure you share the video and also subscribe to help the channel grow. So thank you, and we'll bring you more episodes in the future. Bye for now.